Morgan. I am the mom of two of the currently enrolled students here at Liberty Center for Learning, and I'm just going to share a little bit of our background and I guess how we ended up at Liberty Center for Learning. So I have two kiddos, age 7 and 9. When we first started our journey in this public school system, my oldest was just a kindergartner. So circumstances were a little bit different than Christy's. We weren't even in the school system long enough to see any of the trends that she bore witness to. So we had kindergarten starting right before COVID. So my kindergartner was enrolled in a West Ada School of Choice school, Spalding STEM, and we made it through half the year, and then the school got shut down. One of the things that we found really concerning was that this overarching theme of if everybody couldn't have it, nobody could have it. So our kindergartner, who was just getting his exposure to classmates and forming friendships and relationships, was then told all of a sudden he couldn't be in contact with any of these classmates going forward, just because not everybody could have it, so he couldn't have it either, which was sad to us. It was really heartbreaking to see that kind of be put on hold. So from there, we actually saw the writing on the wall that the school district was not going to be prepared with these alternative technology options and whatnot that they had been promising, and we decided to go ahead and make a different leap. And so we from there moved into an online charter school. So it was a charter school that actually had an established history of online schooling already, so we knew that they would be prepared with format and technology and curriculum, but to say we were underwhelmed was probably an understatement. From there, though, we stuck it out for half the year, and then we were accepted into this charter school's brick and mortar location that was here in Meridian. So we went there, but unfortunately the other part of that is that their health and safety standards were still requiring that all the students would be masked all the time. So full-time masking every day, all day. And that was just something that we didn't agree with, and attempted to follow the channels on the chain of command, but I consistently got shut down time and time again on requesting information. How were these decisions being made? Where was the parental input being allowed? And finally had a meeting with the school principal and realized that when she took me into her office, that was the first time that I had been inside the school building, and the first time I'd even identified where my first grader's classroom was, 4 months after him being enrolled in this school, which hit me like a ton of bricks. To have not known where my child physically was day in and day out was disturbing. The school board was not engaging or helpful, neither was the administration, and unfortunately we had decided that we were going to go the charter school route because we thought, great, they're going to operate like a business. There will be some sense behind this. And that was the thing that actually was the determining factor, was that because they operated like a business, they had no regard for parental input or parents being the ultimate decision maker for their kids. So we ended up, we re-enrolled because we're like, we'll hold our spot there. Again, another lottery or wait list situation. And then we decided to open our search up. So we, my husband and I decided that we were going to start looking for a private educator, someone to come to our house and teach the kids, homeschool idea. And we really had some core values that we wanted to be incorporated, which were a faith-based curriculum and then also a constitutional and true American history. So these things were two really important values to us that we said, if we're going to do it our way, these are the things that we want to incorporate. And through divine intervention is the best way I know how to explain it. We crossed paths with Sandra. We had a really lovely conversation, and then from there we had a chance to collaborate on curriculum and testing what levels the kids would be at, that sort of thing. And Sandra actually came to our home and taught our kids for a year. So fast forward that year, and through the efforts of Sandra and the other family that's enrolled with us, we have Liberty Center for Learning now. And we really value this because our kids have the appropriate amount of time in the school classroom. So we realized that, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds are not meant to be in a classroom 30 to 40 hours a week. We realize that's overkill, and yes, they might be in a classroom with lots of other kids their age, but in reality, there's a lot of idle time, and there's a lot of screen time that's used as babysitters, or maybe not used in a truly educational format. Kids all learn at different paces too, which is something we recognize, but something we really enjoy about Liberty Center for Learning is that the kids are learning from each other rather than learning from a computer screen, if they're even learning from a computer screen. So now they do have a chance to do some things in advanced technology at Liberty Center for Learning. One of the things that they've started learning recently is some basic intro to graphic design, which is really cool. So there's limited screens here, which we can appreciate. There's benefits to those tools, but we just don't believe in it being the primary tool for their educational route. So that's just one of the many things that we love about Liberty Center for Learning. Some of the other things is that they get to learn their core curriculum with a Christian-based and truly biblical viewpoint. So each of their subjects is actually a faith-based curriculum, with the exception of mathematics. But they, I'll pause.
Hey, come on in. Come on, guys.
Hi,
Hey,
welcome.
Want some shirts?
So that's just a little bit about kind of our journey through the public school system, through the charter school system, and our decision-making process for how our kids ended up with Liberty Center for Learning and Sandra. I'm happy to answer questions too. I don't know, is there anything major that I missed? Did I have any big gaps?
Well,
It's okay, it's only fair. I ask him questions during his speaking presentations.
That's right.
okay, so no,
That is one thing though that the kids get to do. So they do a public speaking presentation once a quarter, and they get to choose their topic fully on their own. So we've heard all kinds of really great topics, but they do the research, they write the cards out, they design the presentation board, and then they give about a 5-minute presentation to a group of people. So it's really great. They're getting a foundation and some research principles, but also presentation, and so it's just one of those little extra neat things that they get to do here. So anyways, I'm happy to answer questions. I didn't really go as prepared as Christy, so I was like, I'll speak off the cuff.
This might be more for Sandy, but I wanted to find out more about, active boys and getting their exercise and stuff. You mentioned about a local park and whatnot.
Yes.
But also, kind of throughout the day in a small setting, how you deal with the high energy boys.
Definitely a great question for Sandra, but seeing as how two of my boys are half of that equation, I will attest to the fact that they can be a squirrely crew. But she starts the day with some PE that kind of helps rein in that energy. But one of the things that I really like is that their learning environment is flexible, so it allows some space for the wiggles. So they've got some movement that just naturally is going to come out. We know how squirrely boys can be, but when the weather eases up a little bit, they go on their walks, they go to a park or an outdoor setting. The other thing that my family does is both of our boys are enrolled in sports as well, so they will continue to have the opportunity to, if they want to play sports at a school, they can do that, but we take advantage of some club sports scenarios as well. But for the main part during the day, their day is, instead of being 8 to 3 or 7 to 3 really, 5 days a week, their day is condensed for 9 to 2, and so that allows them a lot of time actually to be outside of school as well. So when my kids come home from school, they go outside. So they're definitely still getting that that outside time. And we love to, you know, collaborate too and, you know, make a play date or something like that, so.
That's great. Thanks,
Thank
Marty.
you.
Yep.